Hello everyone, back tuning into today's video. We're going to have a look at the weather going through to the second half of December in today's video. We've got some very unsettled weather coming up over the coming few days. We're under high pressure at the moment, but it's not going to last much longer. At the end of the week, low pressure is really going to wind itself up in the Atlantic, sweeping in very wet and windy conditions, and that's going to stay with us there for quite a few days. So I'm afraid we may well have more problems with flooding as we move through the weekend into next week. Rivers are still very full, of course, after November's deluge. And it won't take much more rain to produce further flooding in parts of the country. So yeah, that could be the problem going through the weekend and into next week. Anyway, we'll have a look at the charts in some detail in a moment. Before I get on with the video, I just want to mention the advertising that usually be a video ad overlay. My web videos at gazwebvids.com. Please play those videos. You should be supporting gazwebvids.com by doing that. And Gav Shop, of course, just 2 weeks away from Christmas Day, 2 weeks today. So do go through to Gav Shop, click on the Amazon.co.uk banners, go through to Amazon, and you can do your Christmas shopping there. You'll be supporting gazwebvids.com at the same time, and thank you very much for doing that. So this is the current situation. This is from the GFS model from the website weathercentral.de, which you can find on my links page. We're currently under high pressure, cold area of high pressure. We've got a lot of frost and freezing fog as I'm doing this video across the country at the moment, but it's not as cold as it could be. And you'll remember that this time last week it looked as though this area of high pressure is going to develop to the north of the country and form a big block of area, a big blocking area of high pressure up over Scandinavia as it meets this high pressure here over Russia. Of course, you've been reading in your papers a lot over the last few days about the beast from the east. This is the beast from the east up over Russia, and that's where it's staying because this shortwave area of low pressure around Norway is just stopping these two areas of high pressure from forming as it looked like that was going to last week. They're not forming, so we're not backing the winds right the way to the east, and we're not bringing in that strong easterly wind from the Urals, bringing snow-laden clouds across the continent and into the British Isles. And as I say, the reason that's not happening is that we've got this little short wave low pressure around Norway, and that's just stopping the high pressures from getting together. But nevertheless, it's still cold across the country. This high pressure that's currently over us is cold, but it's not going to last for much longer, because by the time we get through to the end of the week, we're seeing this deep area of low pressure, 955 millibars, sweeping in off the Atlantic, destroying that high pressure. It just gets pushed out of the way very, very quickly by this deep area of low pressure, and this low pressure will be bringing wet and windy conditions at the end of the week. Tightly packed ice bars here, so it will be windy, gale force winds in places, and there'll be heavy rain tied in with this weather system as well. Now, the temperatures will be lifting up. It will be turning milder, but I wouldn't necessarily say it'll be particularly mild, and the reason is because the black line here, which is the jet stream, is still tracking to the south of the country, so we're still on the cool side of the jet. We will get a push of milder air with this area of low pressure, but I wouldn't necessarily say it's going to be particularly mild. And the reason we remain on the cool side of the jet is because we've got this area of high pressure. This is the beast from the east, remember, up here over Russia. It's still there. It's 1055 millibars, very big area of high pressure. As long as it stays there, it's going to keep the jet stream tracking more or less to the south of the country, and it'll always be threatening. As long as you've got 1055 millibar area of high pressure across western Russia, it will be threatening to move our way. So we have to keep an eye on it. There's certainly the possibility that it could move our way at some point and give us a proper cold spell. Now, as we move further beyond this, we're going into Saturday, and the low pressure is still to the west of the country. Again, a deep area of low pressure, very deep, really, 960 millibars, very intense low pressure. And the jet stream is still tracking more or less to the south, so it's windy, unsettled, rather cool, really, but milder than it is at the moment. Now, the ECMWF is very similar. Once we get through to the end of the week, we bring this area of low pressure in off the Atlantic. Tightly packed ice bars. It will be windy. We'll take heavy rain across the country. There will be some snow by way of this rain, as the rain really moves into the cold air, there could be some snow. Northern England, Scotland probably most prone, but I'll have to firm up on it over the next hour. I don't think we'll see much across England and Wales. So as we move beyond this into Saturday, the low pressure is out to the west of the country. Again, 965 millibars as the central pressure of the low pressure, so it really quite a deep trough indeed. And again, the black line here, the jet stream is to the south, so on the cool side of the jet. It won't be especially warm, it won't be mild, but it will be milder than it is at the moment. It will be very unsettled. Notice again the high pressure up over Russia, 1055 millibars. Now going beyond this, we're going to the 8 to 10 day period, and we have a look at the 500 millibar height anomalies, and we see that for the ECMWF we are expected or predicted to keep this blocking area of high pressure here across western Russia, just ridging in towards Scandinavia. And notice the orange colours here, these are above average heights, indicating above average pressure. They're starting to ridge through Greenland and heading off in towards Canada. So there is actually signs that we're developing quite a big blocking feature here, again to the north of the country. There's the trough still in the Atlantic to the west of the country. Again, the jet stream is tracking generally to the south, so again we are more or less on the cold side of the jet, although it won't be especially cold. But we do have to keep an eye on this blocking area of high pressure up to the north. At any point really this could develop more and just push this trough a little bit further south. If that happens, we open the floodgates to the cold, the properly cold weather. So the GFS for 8 days time, this is again from west central. The low pressure is still in the Atlantic, but it's less intense than it will be at the end of this week. This is for Tuesday the 18th, so it's a week away. Again, we're bringing this weather system across the country, but there's the blocking high pressure up to the northeast, just showing signs perhaps that it's trying to push back towards Greenland maybe. So as I say, we have to keep an eye on this, because at any point it could strike really. As we go to 10 days out, which is Friday the 21st of December, the trough of low pressure is more or less over the country then, but there is just signs that we're beginning to reach the pressure a bit over Greenland, beginning to increase a bit of pressure there. So everything really is pointing to the fact that it's staying unsettled, I think, but there is the chance that at any point we could bring some colder air into the mix with this. But again, detail on this is very uncertain. The ECMWF again for a week's time, we've got the low pressure here across the country. There's that big high pressure there up over western Russia, just threatening with things. As we move beyond this into 10 days, Friday the 21st of December, getting close towards Christmas now, we're pushing that low pressure a bit further south. This is what I was talking about when I was going through the 500 millibar heights. We could just push that low pressure a bit further south if this pressure ridges more to the north and just start to open the doors to colder weather coming in from the east and the northeast. So we do need to be constantly watching out for this area of high pressure up to the northeast. Finally, the Canadian vol for GM, it's very unsettled for a week's time, low pressure dominating. And again, as we move beyond that to the 10-day period, there's just the suggestion that the high pressure may begin to influence enough to the north of the country, becoming quite blocked here to the north of the country, really from Greenland going back towards Russia. And that has the effect of forcing those areas of low pressure, the trough, forcing it further south, just starting to open the floodgates to the colder air that's waiting to the northeast. Now, we can't say too much about this because we're supposed to be seeing proper easterly winds and very cold weather at the moment, and it's not happened, so these things as they get closer do go wrong. But as long as we keep that high pressure to the northeast, 1050 millibars, a very intense area of high pressure there over western Russia, as long as we keep that, we do need to be watching out constantly for the threat of colder weather, because it doesn't take much to start to push that high pressure towards Iceland and Greenland and force the trough southwards and open the floodgates to cold weather. But the main story of the next few days at least is that it's turning very unsettled. More heavy rain over the weekend into the start of next week will almost certainly be more problems with flooding. Come back tomorrow, I'll be doing the 5-day forecast, but that's it for now. Thanks for watching.